What's up, everyone? Welcome. This is Animated J, my Creative Movers podcast, interviewing dancers from all over the world. And today we have a very special guest. This man right here, this was the man that brought the hip hop dance to the area I was living in the Lehigh Valley area, Allentown, Pennsylvania. This was the man that we went to his studio and we would be sessioning for hours and hours. And I met other dancers in the area. And this was like, it was like the renaissance for dance for me, because it was like, wow, what is this world? So, no further ado, this is Dominick Boyd, owner, founder, creator of the BIA, Born Into the Arts.
Yes.
Yeah, like, man, so many memories, man. So many friendships were created. Jeremy, Gumby, Denzel.
Denzel,
even like
Lisa.
Yep.
Yadira, Cynthia, Sylvia.
Yeah.
It was just a beautiful community, and we still going. That's the beautiful part too.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of people know how difficult it is for the hip hop culture to have an established business and to succeed, especially as a small business. Now with me moving into the Lehigh Valley, coming out of New York, a big city, where things are different, and just, kind of God, I always say God, kind of motivates my life in every aspect, right? Yeah. And I stumbled onto Stroudsburg, meeting girls as being young, then came across Allentown. Wow. And I remember saying to myself back then that Allentown was just depressing kind of city, right? It was like the drugs was in your face, the neighborhoods was very, just poor, just very, no motivation when I seen the youth, right? When I seen anything. But when I first moved out here, I remember I moved to the city, to the Lehigh Valley, following the girl I was dating. That was but then again, that's God motivating. But now dance was always my passion. At this time I was commuting, I was still teaching dance for New York City Housing. Okay. And growing up, actually, before I even get there, from the beginning, what started dance is what raised me, right? I have this saying that I say, even though I was created by Adam and Eve, I truly believe it was the colors of the earth that raised me, and that representing the arts. And the reason being is because, growing up in New York City in the 80s, most, African American kids my age that can say probably the same story. Father wasn't involved, drugs, separated the homes and stuff like that. And you learn, we was raised by our surroundings, but my surroundings didn't fit me. And there was something in my heart, and now even though I had morals and I had things out of my family, my grandparents kept me in church, and I did have a safeguard, if you will. But once again, I didn't fit in that element. It was something in me that I was like, I got so much I want to express. I want so much want to do. Then I found, but I love music, right? I love music. I love expressing the best way I can through music. So when I found hip hop, when I found dance, when I understood what popping was and how I can use this popping when I hear certain beats, I'm like, oh, so I found a way to express. Then also found a way to tell a story, because I had a voice that wasn't being heard. I got the same stories every other kid in the neighborhood, right? So that was my scapegoat. That was my way, where it was like, no matter what was going on around me, I can listen to a song, I can find myself into this imagination where I'm living a world that's not amongst those in front of me, right? Because once you know how that feeling goes, the music come on, no matter where you at, you put on some headphones, you put on some music, And that feeling and knowing that you can express to that sound, you can be the image of that sound. So that's what drew me into the art of dance and performing and things like that. But once again, still fighting for a purpose.
Right.
So I found teaching for New York City Housing.
Okay. So in New York, that's where you were
Started teaching. Yeah, when I first started teaching, like choreography, things like that, and but I found the purpose. I found the joy behind it. It wasn't just me getting on stage for 5 minutes or so and it's over. It continued. It brought change and it gave them the same thing it gave me. So that's why I found in love with the passion of teaching. But I knew in New York it would be the same routine. I'm limited where I was able to go. So it's like I would be here next 10 years and that's it. I couldn't make the change I wanted to. And sometimes you will feel that in life, right? You'll be in a situation and you'll sit back and you say something don't feel right, and you kind of walking like that dream. You're moving, but you ain't going nowhere, type of a thing,
Right.
And when you feel that, I just got up and it was I had a friend. He moved to Mount Pocono. We visited him and. I moved out there, met a girl, and just kind of went with it. And it was just like, boom. Now I'm in Allentown.
Right.
But a lot of people would say, what did you see in Allentown?
Right. Why Allentown?
Why Allentown?
Yeah.
But I knew God placed me there. It wasn't a saying, oh, this is where I want to be.
Like strategic, you weren't planning out strategic. You were just kind of fun. Because Allentown, I'm just sharing my perspective. Yeah. There's not much, at least of the time when I first got into dance, there wasn't much going on. Like the arts, like it was like I feel the big thing out here was sports. Like, sports was like the big thing, but when it came to like the arts and dance and cultural, it wasn't.
It was nothing.
Nothing,
and that's what made it even harder.
Right.
Because the dance studios was big, but they was literally still doing, what's that? A spoonful of sugar. They was doing Mary Poppins still. Like that's where the studio world was at. So you're talking about somebody that's moving in slow motion or someone that's popping in,
bringing street dance into it. It's like that wasn't seen.
That wasn't seen,
Allentown,
and not how we were doing it. Right. I remember the studios used to do a style called they didn't call it hip hop. They called it jamming.
Jamming. In the Reno Valley. Yeah, that was what it was called.
That's what if they was to offer a hip hop, it was called jamming.
Okay.
And they danced to cheer mixes.
Interesting.
If you listen to a cheer, that boom, boom, boom.
Interesting, right?
So that it was no rhythm, nothing to go off of. So I was this rock in this garden that just didn't fit. Like it was just, I didn't fit. So now I'm here in the city.
Yes.
There's nothing here that can relate to my style, to my culture, to who I am. But when I walk through Allentown, the culture is there. One day I went out to a club and I see a group of guys, and you got your B-boys, you got the hitting characters.
Yes,
you know what I mean? So the hitting characters,
these groups,
here. Yeah, and you see these guys that's with raw and amazing talent in these underground after-school programs in a club, or the Warriors and people like that.
Yes.
So you see it happening, or the kids with raw talent.
Yes,
because that's what. The beautiful part about us and our culture, it doesn't matter whether you step foot in the studio. It's just that raw understanding of music that we just are able to deliver and give. So you have so many kids with this raw talent, but the only thing they're looking forward to is the team party or the club, or this is their performances. This is how far it goes. Right. So I'm like, wow, now I know what I'm used to, and I know what I'm capable of, and I wanted to build that here, and now growing up, my life was also very, all over the place, shelters, then to a group home, and, I had my grandmother, I had my grandparents, and my mother had, her hard parts, but I definitely had her. She definitely raised me.
But they're all in New York.
But they're all in New
No
York.
one's in Pennsylvania.
Nobody's in Pennsylvania. But,
okay.
And the reason why I moved, well, my cousin ended up moving to Pennsylvania after me.
Okay.
After me, but he's in Ben Salem. So,
okay.
But even though I had my family in different avenues, there was different trials and tribulations that I went through that I knew I'm like, I gotta go. Another saying is the best way to find yourself is to be by yourself, right? And I had to go face the world and say, the dreams, the things I want, it's not realistic to no one else. So I'm not getting that motivation to say, hey, you can do that. You can do that. Always heard, for me, my biggest thing was about making change. I always wanted to make a change. I wanted to save the world. And, I heard all the time, one man can't save the world. But Martin Luther King was one man. Right. Rosa Parks was one woman. So you can make an impact. You can make maybe not a world, but a person. Maybe not 1,000, but maybe 10. You get what I'm saying? And that's where I wanted. That's what I wanted. So when I end up in Allentown, and when I seen, damn, it wasn't this, it wasn't that, we didn't have this. I have no support. There's nothing here I can bounce off of. I got to create it from scratch. I knew where I needed to be. Because God said, this is what you wanted. This is what you asked for.
You wanted to change.
You wanted to make change. You said you wanted someone to believe in what you're doing. So I'm believing. There's not going to be somebody standing there. I'm just going to place you here. So I just went off of it. So I started first in the dance studios, getting familiar with the dance scene, and remember looking up dance studios in the yellow pages.
Wow.
And calling every studio and everyone that offered jamming. I'm like, okay, and I call them.
Yeah.
And after a while, I started teaching here, started getting familiar. Was at one studio for a long time. That's a whole nother book. But and then I got familiar with the area, right? I got familiar with the dance, the business side, but also with the community. Started to meet with the urban community. So I'm in this right in this middle, but I still can't choreograph. I still can't do what I want because I'm limited, right? With I'm doing what the studio's asking for. But then I finally opened up a program at a club I used to run the day called Hip Hop 101.
Okay.
Right. And Hip Hop 101 was pretty much supposed to be this little hip hop based studio, first one in the valley. I'm in the inner city. No kids could afford it. I had a cheap price, but nobody was paying. They couldn't afford it. And the guy was nice enough to let me rent out for like a little $100 a month, for the day. And I remember building off of that. But as I started to do that, someone from the YMCA got word, brought me down to the YMCA, grew it there. And then as I was growing it there, someone heard about that program and we started the Escape, the first free episode.
Yes, I heard of the Escape. Yep, yeah. I remember.
But one thing I learned in a nonprofit was when you're a nonprofit, you have to have a established business to oversee that nonprofit.
Okay.
So once I had to, Escape went from this program, that program, trying to get someone to oversee us and, taking the money or, to deal with all of us, the behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
Once we got this company to oversee us, they pretty much took and directed where they wanted this program to go. So kids go into competition amongst other studios.
That's what they wanted.
No, they didn't want that.
They didn't want that.
No, only block parties in the neighborhood, only inner city stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't want that.
You wanted to.
I want them to experience because I'm on both sides.
Yes.
Because now at this point, working for the dance studio world, I started working for Parkland High School and
everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yes.
So now everybody, I'm just the only guy teaching like hip hop, but choreography. Actual hip hop choreo and stuff like that, and real hip hop. So they, everybody now is getting familiar with me. But I'm also my hands is like this in both pots.
Okay.
Right. And I want to introduce this to these kids. So it was a big fallout with YEA because they didn't want that. And I said, you know what? And they made it clear to me that they pretty much took over my program. And that's what happens. You build something and the not you need to be a nonprofit and you can get money and kids can go for free, et cetera, et cetera. But then another established business got to oversee it. So they take control of what you make or raise and things like that, and they give it to you how they see fit. And it's a whole big thing. So they take control. So, and I didn't like the direction. So I created Born Into the Arts.
Wow.
And Born Into the Arts was a name of a book I was writing on. And starting off with what I just said in the beginning with, even though I was created by Adam and Eve, it was the colors of the earth that raised me. And that was the concept of what I was writing. And a friend of mine said, that'd be a great name for the studio.
Wow.
And as I thought about it, because she knew what I was trying to do, I said, that's exactly what I want to teach. I want a place where kids, I know in hip hop we are strong about foundation, and it's great to keep foundation and keep the knowledge of where things come from.
Right.
But I always try to teach a lot of my hip hop dancers and a lot of people in the community that we can't lose the freedom of creativity that hip hop brings. And this is why we continue to evolve.
Right. You don't stay, this is how it is, and we're keeping it here.
Yeah.
It's room to explore and push further.
Push it past its limits, create more, things like, think about how old Crump is.
Yeah.
Crump is not that old.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, and it's a bounce off of
clowning before that.
Tommy and the Clown, and clowning and stuff like that. So that's the whole point of what allows us to evolve. So I wanted to push that freedom and that first thing, understanding music, understand the different things sound gives you. It gives you understanding of emotions. It gives you, and to lock into that inner core, because it's locked into us, music. I don't know if you've ever seen the video. It was a little baby, probably not even one yet, in the car seat, listening to Whitney Houston. Have you ever seen that? And the baby's listening to Whitney Houston, and they're singing that "I will always love you."
Yes, yeah.
And when Whitney hit that note, you see the baby go. But the the feeling. So this is something that's embedded to us. The only thing that gets in the way is thought.
Yeah.
So here, I want you to take away thought and just feel and be free to feel. That's why I wanted to create a space where you was free to be whoever you wanted to be, but also what I was doing is also creating a family for me because I didn't have that. I moved out here, I was by myself with just an idea and I didn't know no one. I didn't, but then again, living back in New York, I had family, but I mean, I moved around. My scenario always changed, so it's something I was used to. But I knew whatever I was doing, even though it wasn't outlined or it wasn't directed for me, I knew it was important, and I knew God placed me here to do it. And it brought me joy just as well, and it's funny when you come back and you say, what it did for you, and it's like, it means a lot to me because, we so much in it, we never reflect and look back, right? We don't look at ourselves. Like, I don't look at what I'm doing.
You're just doing, you're living it.
I'm living it. And I love what I do, but it's also creating a family for me. And I don't think a lot of people really see that. This is someone that moved out from the city, all that he knows, with no one. And by the time I met, I created BIA, the girl I met done left me and we done broke up. So I don't have no one. But through this studio, I have 2 kids that I raised through it. I've married twice. I went through all kinds of scenarios, but through this studio is the only the people, the kids that
Always was
always
there.
kept
Always.
me, and even though some may go astray,
Right.
but there's times where, you will come back and you will say certain things and that will motivate me.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I had a kind of a rough season at the end of the season. So, but then this is what I mean when I say this is how God works.
Mm.
I had a rough season and it was, even like that trip, it was a beautiful thing, but it was a rough time for me personally. And you always go through those moments doing this over 20 years,
Mm.
building this brand. And you go and you question yourself and you say, am I doing the right thing? Are the negativities or, when you do face them, is it right? Is that me? Should I continue? What is my purpose? Is my purpose ended? Then, Denzel Christian pop up. You pop up and Jeremy popped up and we say these things.
These are all, and you could look up all the people we're talking about.
Yes.
I mean, in LA, Denzel been everywhere. The house, if you're in LA and you're house dancer, you know Denzel.
Yeah, Denzel,
like Christian, Christian, like
Christian Barreto. Definitely look him up. If you don't know him. Jeremy BKS in Orlando, and they all is beautiful because they all doing their thing.
Right.
And the start, actually, it was my first student was Denzel.
Wow, that was your first born into the arts, or
when I first moved out to the state.
Really?
When I first taught at the studio I was teaching at the time, he was this kid that had a raw talent.
Wow.
He had that raw talent. Like he knew how to move.
Yeah.
He just had it in him. But he was in the studio where everybody was completely different. You know what I mean? So, and he had a special flavor. So me and Denzel, as soon as I went to the studio, I danced for the kids, and me and him was just like click.
Wow.
And Denzel was only 9 in Jeremy.
Wow.
Denzel and Jeremy, they was like 9 and 10. It was just these two little boys, and as time, so I had Denzel for a very, very, very long time.
Wow.
And it's just a beautiful thing to watch what all of y'all are doing, because a lot of people don't realize, living in the cities, you got so much, but there's nothing out. Still to this day, we were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Still to this day, there's not enough for the culture of just hip hop and hip hop culture and everything it is, and everything that comes with it, and everything that it gives. It enhances everything, but it doesn't. But it also is a way for kids to identify. Kids that look like me, look like you, look like, and it's not always have to be gangster rap. It can be Motown. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Soul,
Right.
like it could be just something that identifies with who we are, who our grandparents, our culture, and to say we have a place we belong here, and that's what BIA represents. It represents that place where you can identify, and it doesn't matter what race you are.
Right.
Hip hop has done grown past. I always hate when people say, hip hop is a Black and a Puerto Rican thing. When you don't realize, you look at the most classic hip hop battle song, Dindada.
Right.
Yeah. You look at the most classic song. You look at the person that sings it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So hip hop is a culture that's a melting pot full of all types of arts across the world, and we all put it in this one. It's soulful, right? We took the scraps and we put seasoning on it.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? We put some flavor to it. We took capoeira, salsa. We took all these different elements and art forms and movement. Like I always tell people when they ask my kids who started the moonwalk, and they go, Michael Jackson. And they know. A lot of people don't know Bill Bailey, 1944.
Was a tap dancer?
Yep. A tap dancer. I'm gonna say 44, 54.
Probably.
Okay. 44. 1944. Tap dancer.
Right.
So what hip hop is we take as much as what we had, and we constantly evolve it. We constantly grow. We constantly put it together, and and it was a place for everyone to share, and it brought every race, every all different diversity. It allowed us to tell a story.
Yeah.
It gave us a family. It gave us a purpose, and it gave y'all guys a safe space. That I lived in a city where walking down the street you can lose your life. And it's the honest to God truth. I grew up in the Bronx, Cedric Avenue. So which is dope. First thing, which is dope. What I'm doing, it's like I was raised on the Bronx, birth certificate, Cedric Avenue. That's where hip hop started.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Cedric Avenue, right down the street, 5020. I was right up the street.
You were born into it.
I was born into it. I was born to hip hop. But the thing is, I understood what that environment is. Even though growing up in the '80s, and even though like there was certain, I never blamed my parents for their choices, because I understood. In the same token, their environment they lived in. But my mother made sure she installed a lot of tools in me. Like first thing she made sure me and my sister put God first in our life. We understand what was right, what was wrong. So even though we were in our environment, we wasn't a product of that environment. And that's what I held on to, that don't do life. That's what separated me from anything else. I ain't make all the right decisions, but I knew where I wanted to go. I knew my purpose, but it almost felt like I took on that everything I went through, the scary points I went through, the loneliness, and just some really hard moments. I just felt like I took on every kid. And I just felt like their life would be like that. Like everybody was me. And I made sure. Y'all want to stay in the studio all night? Okay, click.
Man.
Let's cipher. Let's do that. Y'all want to dance every day? Okay,
what
boom.
do you like? Right.
Let's do it. It was so much. I continue, and I poured more and more and more. And what people didn't see the behind the scenes were, because remember, a lot of people couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
But what they didn't see was when there was a padlock on the door and me pleading with the landlord, trying to pay rent at a studio, and pay for a house, and with a new baby, and just me multitasking, trying to make it work. People didn't see that, but for me, and I could have easily just said, all right, this ain't gonna do it, and just dealt with one. But it wasn't. It was never about the finances. It was never about the money. It was about just creating something where these kids can go, where y'all can express it. Y'all know that y'all are worth more. Everything about you, your gifts are worth something. You're worth something. Your mind is worth something. Like when I realized you can go to Harvard. This is a fact. You can look this up. This is a fact. Go to Harvard University and get a master's on the study of Tupac Shakur.
Wow.
And not just take a course. Not just take a course. Get a master's degree.
Studying him.
Study of Tupac Shakur. And someone said, oh, well, that's stupid. I'm like, well, Harvard is not known.
They don't think it's
stupid for stupid people, right? It's Harvard University,
right? And prestigious. Everybody knows
exactly.
About it.
So if they are offering a master course, they know something we don't about who we are,
right?
They about see something that comes out natural,
right?
There's an Ebonics dictionary, for our slang,
right?
For the creativity and how our mind works as a people, as a culture. Because when they wonder where does creativity come from, it comes from struggle. It comes from limited resources.
Right.
It comes from, you got water, you got sugar.
You got to figure it out, right?
Sugar water it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
figure it out.
You got to figure it out. But through struggle we created song. You know what I mean? Through that broken, we look at a dead tree and look at it as sorrow, but we looked at that dead tree and created a drum. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how we live. when we was picking cotton, used to hum. You know what I mean? Used to came up with, old gospel, spiritual, those songs.
Right.
Struggle brought music, brought celebration, brought, expression and creativity. Limited resources allowed our brains to write a rhyme and think how complex our lyrics can be. You get what I'm saying? We studied the Bible to make sure, every detail, every understanding, every concept from the Bible to the dictionary, we made sure as lyricists we took it further and beyond because we had limited resources. So all what we did have is that creativity, and hip hop is the home of struggle and creativity brought out into what you see today.
Right. Yeah. And it makes me now I reflect on even the students you've had. I'm sure every person has a story of struggle. Of all the students even my own story, my own family coming into Pennsylvania from New York with that struggle, which is a whole other story. But like everyone, it's interesting how we all this was the place that the point to meet, and you created this to pull it. It was a safe haven.
No,
It
yes.
was a safe haven for all of us to come to, and from all the backgrounds.
And that was like that was the point too, because it's like when you don't. The sad part is, I talk to my kids now, my newer generation. And I love my students, and I always get on them. But this newer generation is a lot more softer. And I know we talk about a lot of people talk about, oh, dude, you're so soft. But it's also a blessing, right? Because the reason why is we made sure. What's the point of a parent, right? What's the point? Is to make sure your child lives a better life than you had, right? But so we protect them. But with that protection, they take things that's little a lot more serious. Where us, it was like we didn't care about what we placed that competition. We cared that we were able to have this experience.
Be in the competition.
Be in the competition.
Show up.
It's just to
We're
show
here.
up and just be
right.
Yeah. Because everybody, we care about everything else, but we didn't really care about that stuff just because we knew what the limited resources we had. So we appreciated it. But the thing is, and I really stress this to the kids and to everybody, is that the moments, you go on in life like me, moved out here, and I didn't have nobody. And it sounds like a story, like a book, because I literally came in with a book bag full of clothes. Wow. That's how I moved out. Wow. I realized it was nothing for me. I didn't have nothing. And my life wasn't going in the direction I wanted it to. And I took a leap of faith. And each step, I fell a few times, but I just believed in what I was doing. And like, y'all guys had a safe haven, so did I. Because I felt like I could finally stop walking. Right? You just walking, you just trying to figure out your pace. Who am I? Where I belong? Where do I fit in? That's a real thing. A lot of people don't think. It sounds poetic. Oh, I don't fit in nowhere. No, some people just don't. Even though you see a person around, that just may not be where he needs to fit in life. And I was finding, I was looking for that. So once it's like when your body just stops and just like, you finally here.
Wow.
And just now, this is going to be another obstacle.
Right.
And you got to go through, think about it, with kids, I go through the emotions and the dating each other and oh my God. So you deal with other stuff. You had kids that came out to me that for the first time before their parents. Wow. And it was just experiences that I never even thought I would be good with. Right. Or know how to handle. Wow. But I knew God just said, you're going to know what to say. You're going to know how to be there for him. You're going to know how to be there for her. You know what I mean? Parents not in their life, abusive homes, drug-related issues. And But then I thought about my life.
Mm.
And a big phrase I love that my grandma used to always say and my mother used to always say is, God don't make no mistakes.
Mm. Right.
So I think like I had love, I had protection, but I was introduced to all these different negativities, violent fathers, drugs,
Mm.
crimes, and just I was introduced to all these things, but I always had church.
Mm.
Or you know what I mean? I had the morals of my grandparents and the morals of my mother, my aunt, my cousin. I still had a family, but I was still introduced.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I got here, when I started to build this, I had to take in everything.
Wow.
And these were literally my kids.
Wow.
Right? I remember we used to talk about, like, yeah, my kid, my kid, my kid.
Mm-hmm.
And someone said, how many kids you have? It was so funny because I'm in the supermarket and
Yeah.
I'm sitting there counting the studio because I go, and the lady's looking at me.
Damn, like, all your kids have been around
But they were.
Right.
I found myself, I remember there was a situation where the father, he was known for violence, like
Okay.
weapons.
Okay.
He shot at the cops. Like,
Okay. Damn. Okay.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
situation
Yeah.
with this one father. But I remember the two daughters, they danced with me and they called me in the middle of the night. And how the father and with the mother, it was a whole bad thing. And I'm up. I live 30 minutes from where they live. I'm up in the middle of the night,
Wow.
getting them out the house. And like these were and it still are, they are my kids. So I poured in everything because once again, I'm looking at me.
Right. You see
And
you in
I see
everyone.
me. And I didn't have someone, I had people there. So
Right.
I don't want to say I didn't have someone to save me, but I didn't have someone to take me to where I am now. I didn't have someone to create that. I didn't have someone to put the jacket over the puddle. It was just get your damn feet wet because I got my feet wet.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's I think what was my motivation in this. And like I said, I never really sat back and looked at what I was doing. I never paid attention to say, hey, you're making a difference. You're
Right.
doing something, because I was also doing for me.
Right.
It was my peace, it was my joy. That's why I used to always tell people, you never, a lot of blessings or a lot of things you do for people, you may see it or you will see it. Y'all may deal with it. You realize the people you help is never the ones you get the appreciation from.
The
But
people you help, not the ones you get the appreciation from.
it's never. They do this. See what happens if you come to me and go, hey, I need $10. I go, oh, I got you, man, here. And I give you 20.
Right.
Oh, wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Next time, hey, I need $10. I got you. Oh, shit.
Right.
Yep, here's a ticket 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Next time, I need $10. I'm like, all right, I give you $10. Like, thanks. Then you turn around in your head, you say, oh, he gave me was $10.
Like this expectation.
Then the next time, hey, I need $10. I ain't got it.
And then it's like,
Oh, you think you better than nobody else, and da da da. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but when you're doing it to say, this is for me, this is to warm my heart, because I love the fact that I'm able to give. Thank God that I'm able. Whether if you choose to do the right thing with it, that's you and your own. But for me, I thank God that I was in a position to be able to, first thing, thank God for this gift. Thanks God for the gift of dance. Thank God for the gift of teaching and to be able to communicate and create relationships with kids and parents. Thank God for these things. Whether every kid accepts it, whether every kid, you deal with that in this business. Kids is kids.
Right.
People are people. You can't. But when you focus on them and their response from it, it takes away from what you're doing.
Right.
But if you focus on the joy you get and being thankful that I'm able.
Yeah.
I came from the Bronx. I moved out here with nothing.
Right.
And now I have a established business for over 20 plus years.
Right. Yeah.
And it took me 20 years to look back and say,
wow, like
I did that, and it's not to say we're the greatest. I'm not saying that we're, world of dance, we're this big company or anything. But it's just to say, I thank God to know that I'm able, whether you accept it, whether you appreciate it or not, I'm able to do it. And I thank God I can watch you, who's amazing, and Denzel and Christian and all the kids, Jaleesa, who got Rise Dance Studio, Orlando, Florida. Like, I mean, not Orlando, Florida, in Florida. Don't get me, but in Florida, and I just sit back, McCole, her own gymnastics school, and it's just, I thank God that I was able to create something that helped them push and help them motivate to say, you know what, first thing, I can do it, right? I can do it too. This, first thing, I can identify with this man, right? He got the same sneakers I got. You know what I mean? His girlfriend braids is like mine. Like I can identify with him the way he speaks. I can identify, but he's working. I'm watching him work and build something. I'm watching him create something. I'm watching him succeed. I can do it. I can do it too, and that makes a big difference too.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that. I remember as a kid, I used to, want to hang around. My one cousin, he was the tough guy of the block. They used to drink, they used to smoke, and all the other guys.
Okay.
And I used to follow them, not knowing, follow them because I want to be cool.
Right.
I remember the one day that my one cousin, I went smoking a cigarette and went to pass it to him, and he goes, "Man, I don't smoke." In that moment, I was
like done.
Now I understand, unfortunately, what do you have it later? But
right.
But at that point, I was like, oh, because that's what we look for.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of all of it. Gangs and everything else is to identify with something, to create a community and
belong to
something.
right.
But when you got somebody like you and they look like you, but they still cool.
Right.
They still, they still cool, but they don't do this. They don't do that. They still speaking positive. This is
It's like, wow.
Well, maybe I can be that too. I can succeed. I can create a business.
Right.
I can do that, and that's what I watch all you guys do. And that's the beautiful part is that's what I said. If Beyonce can call me today and say, "I want you to go on tour for a year," and I mean this. So Beyonce, please don't call me and test me. No,
right. The universe gonna. God wants to see
right with you. But no, honest to God, true. Because I always said it. And call me and say, "You know what? You gonna go? I need you going for a year." If it doesn't benefit this, I won't give it up. In a heartbeat, no hesitation. Any opportunity, because that's not. I mean, my old ass is too old to be doing any of it. But that's no longer my purpose, and I won't. That's a moment. I'm not saying I won't enjoy it, but I won't get what doing this gets me. You understand?
Right.
Like, this is something that I can literally sit back and say, once my kids graduate and they live their life, I can sit back. Still to this day, I can sit back and say, if God was to take me today, I would have no regrets, and I'd be confident.
Wow.
I'd be confident because I did without. I'm still doing it.
You're doing.
I'm still doing it. I won't say I did. I'm still doing it, and just more and more kids. And I'm just thankful that I'm blessed. That He blessed. He chose me to say, "I'm gonna trust you with the most prized possession, my youth." And so it doesn't matter. And I've always told people, it doesn't matter where you end up. It doesn't matter, not where you end up, but it doesn't matter what people may say about you or what people may, acknowledge what you're doing. Because sometimes, like I said, we are born into a world of sin. Doing positive may not fit in.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you're going to have that. You're going to always have it. You're positive. You're going to have people that's going to try to tear you apart. But when when you acknowledge that he trusts me, and I'm still here, and I'm still in this space, and I get to watch you guys succeed and continue to push that same, and not just be talented dancers, but amazing people. That's another thing, because all you guys are like really good people. I always say I got some good kids, like students, and overall, like
technical
as far
skill,
but I'm just talking about just
character, right,
you know, and that is so important. So that I can always rest with. I can look at it, and my kids could take and say, "This is what my dad did, and this is what my father was about."
Wow,
You know, I would want to, of course, live until they're, you know, they're old, and I got my greats and stuff like that. Of course, who wouldn't?
Yes.
But you know, if any reason, God forbid, anything was to happen, I know I gave my kids enough of me to feed off of, to say how I want to represent myself. You know, how do I want to live? My daughter, you know, she's with a boyfriend, goes to church, and this is some things that her father was. You know, my father was positive. Same thing with my son. He wants to heal the world. You know, but this is things that he was raised under.
Right.
And even with, like I said, with my mother, she may have made all the right choices, but it wasn't. Those choices didn't affect me. No, it affect me. Excuse me. Her taking all the kids in the neighborhood and singing Christmas carols in the hallway, or taking us to do trips to the zoo and putting our names on brown paper bags, you know. And those are the things, you know. So, like I said, I think that's what motivates me to keep going after all these years, and just all the roller coasters that you know it comes with it. Is not easy, but understanding and sitting back and having, like, because I say, looking at everything you put up, everything, I always looking, you know, at you guys, and just that's what keeps me going, because it's like, wow. And I always talk to the kids about y'all guys, like, and pouring into them. I'm like, no, these are, we all share the same last name, and that's BIA, you know, and a lot of people don't get it, may not get it, may not understand it because they're not from this area. But no, this is a big movement.
Yes.
It is a really big movement.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we're behind the scenes in this little town, right? You know, the flashiness, but people don't know how many amazing dances. Rob Wilson.
Yeah, Short Circuit.
Let's
get
go.
Light feet dancer. He'd be going off.
Like, people don't realize how many dope,
I walked through the doors of
amazing dancers that came through these doors.
Yes.
And grew. And then the beautiful part is y'all like kind of bounced off of each other. The energy, the vibes, and everything. So, and that's the beautiful part. And that's why I try to explain to my new generations, and I talk about you guys, because I want them to know, if you do decide to say, you know what, I want to go further in this community, you got others out there.
Reach out.
That you can reach out, that can give you all the advice, all the direction, you know, and help as much as possible, because we already know what it's like to be in the area and building something from nothing. And that's the most important thing about BIA. We built this from nothing.
Man, I gotta show you around just to see what you know, like. But how you, again, from nothing, from nothing, coming out with your backpack to buildings that you've been in, teaching studios, to all the experiences, trophies, memories. It's crazy.
It's a blessing, like I said, and I'm thankful. And this is, but even with the trophies, and I always tell people, though, the trophies, you got to pay attention to the placements. You know, some people got trophies in their studios, but the placements don't be. No. But you know what, though? Like I said, these are kids that wasn't raised in the studio.
Yeah.
These are kids that didn't have that training, and since they was 5, doing
Right.
fouette turns and
Right,
things like that. These was kids that came in just raw and without no acknowledgement, starting from square one
Yes.
and building. And and people always say, how do you get? Because I got this thing with my parents where I say, if you don't see a difference in your child, a huge difference in your child within a year, I give you your money back. That's how confident I am in my teaching abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people want to know my secret.
Oh, okay.
My secret is make them feel like they are at home.
Make them feel
Make
like they're
them
home.
feel like they are at home. I do things. I flick some of the girls' ponytails in their hair.
It's it feels like a family.
It's a family.
It's not just a studio, a dance class. It's a whole. It's a family. It's a community.
It's a community,
and that's what it is. That's why it goes beyond just this is dance. This is it's a community.
It's a community.
Yeah.
Because the minute you telling somebody just to, you got to get the kid that's singing in the mirror in the bathroom. That's what I try to pull out, right? The kid that's singing in the mirror in the bathroom, because that's where, you're free.
Yeah.
Right. You don't care what anybody think. Right. They just say perform like you're doing it by yourself.
You're not doing it for anyone. You're doing it for
anyone.
you're just this enjoyment.
So when I'm up there and I'm making a clown of myself, and I'll, just make the environment so comfortable where you like it's okay.
Yeah.
If I fall, they're gonna be there fast enough to soften the blow, right? And once you know that, and you get confident, and sometimes I always tell people, if a kid get one step, they could be messing up everything, but they get that one step.
That was the
thing. Be excited.
Right.
That's it. Oh yeah, you got it. You got it.
Right.
That right there is the confidence.
Right.
It takes out the thought, and they're able to do more and more. And the louder you root for them, you support them, and they'll shine.
Yeah.
Then you watch them just go boom.
Yeah.
All right now, next.
Yeah.
And that's the life of like doing this, and it's so beautiful, But one thing is, I always say for dance studios, it's emotionally traumatizing too, right? Because you gotta think about it. You got these kids from 5 years old.
Man, wow, going through all the stages of their life.
Like you end up a second parent, literally, and they go off. You don't see them again.
Wow.
Then you do it again.
Wow, yeah.
Then you do it again. You know what I mean? So it's just but like I said, I wouldn't trade it for a world. I wouldn't give it up for anything. I always gotta have me. I'm lucky enough now to have phenomenal teachers, that's helping me and stuff like that. But it's still that where I gotta, and I can never give it up. It's important, even when nobody's saying it. That's why I'm really thankful for you to come back.
The flowers, let you know, give you, let you know the impact, how influential, and man, I wanted the point I want to make. You mentioned about like you even I remember back then when it was you opened the studios up for us to dance, and I think I don't think we had money to pay for classes at times, but it was you just still let us dance.
Yeah.
And at the studio to 1 a.m.
to go,
and, I would have to be 16, 15, and then Jeremy driving me to the studio, and then at night we're talking to 2 a.m. after just talking about what's going on.
And everybody parent, and the funny part is everybody parent, they knew. Once you got there, no parent had no worries.
No, you're good.
They were good because the environment we had, we was able to do that.
Yes.
And be there all night. I remember I tell the kids we used to have these things called dance overs. And literally we dance from night all the way to the sun come up.
Yeah.
And it was just I call it the BIA world. It was this beautiful bubble that we created, and no matter what was going on outside,
right, that was
those doors, that was your safe haven.
Yes.
Right, because when we fit into here, I remember making pieces and creating this concept that we know damn well nobody in the audience is going to understand it but us, because it was just that world to be able to be free to create
Yeah.
and just express and just vibe with each other.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it was just a beautiful, and I love it. And remember, we used to have dances coming. After a while, you
Mhm.
got dancers coming out from Philly and
Right.
from the other big cities,
Yep.
driving all the way to
To
BIA
come through.
to
Yep.
come to what
Connect.
we created. You know what I mean? What we
Exactly.
got built, and it was beautiful because then it introduced the dances here
Right.
to other environments and other things and other people. And it was, like I said, it was a beautiful thing. And, we pay attention to a lot of things that's on social media, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
That gets the views, it gets the hits
Right.
and stuff like
Right.
that. And we don't acknowledge the the warriors, the heroes without the capes,
Mhm.
and the people, not just, what I was doing, but like what Ant was doing with the warriors. And
Mm.
he was this kid that was just he even I had the space, but he was in a park,
Mm.
and there's
Mhm.
so many people that do this for their own
Right.
escape, but also mainly caring. Remember, that's embedded in our people.
Mhm.
Period. Whether you're black, Puerto
Mhm.
Rican, Dominican, we community people
Mhm.
because we understand that it always took a community for us to survive. We
Mhm.
were never in the, we wasn't in an environment where it took your family or your great grandfather. Or,
Mhm.
we didn't have that.
Right.
It took the community.
Mhm.
Your family wasn't enough, so that's kind of embedded. No matter how you was raised, it's still embedded in you, in
Mhm.
your culture. So you know that's one thing we had, and I think those that didn't have that upbringing,
Mhm.
it brought that to them.
Right.
It brought that understanding to them, brought
Right.
that beauty to them. So if you was in a suburban neighborhood and you never, but they had issues too. They
Mhm.
had things that they went through
Right.
too. It doesn't matter how you was brought up, but
Right.
that community environment helped them get through what they were going through.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you can't point the finger just because a person had that doesn't mean they have.
Right.
Sometimes having less brings you more,
Right.
right?
Right.
So that's what I think. I think the diversity in the studio,
Yes.
not just in race but also in class.
Yes. Yes. That's right.
That was another thing about it. So it was like I said, and it's so funny because as we talk about the studio, one thing we don't talk about is dance. You get
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
but we dance, we
It's dance, but
cypher,
there's so much more
but it was
outside of.
so much more
Right.
that brought to it, and that's why I
Right.
think why we got so many dope dancers.
Yes.
Sidebar, unbeatable. Like this, we
Yeah.
had the squat, and we still. And that's why I love looking at this new generation.
Mm.
Right? It was just, it's like wow. Because after y'all, then you had the G and the
Mm.
Naja and that
Right.
Kayla group, Papa, Xavier. You had
Yes. Yes.
that whole generation. They were like boom,
Yes.
right? Then it was Denasia and it
Mm.
was just so many different amazing generations.
Mm-hmm.
And to lose everything
Mm.
and to come right back full force, was beautiful.
Right.
So it's like I said, it's God, it's definitely, it's something I would never, second guess or
Mm-hmm.
question
Mm-hmm.
because I understand like the bigger purpose behind the movement.
Mm.
And that's sometimes we as dancers we lose that, right? We lose the bigger purpose. We get caught up in the hype and
Right.
who won this, who did this.
Right.
But
Right.
we don't realize the true joy is to be able to express, to be able to share, to
Mm.
be able to teach, to be able to learn, and
Mm.
to be able to be inspired.
Mm-hmm.
These are the blessings,
Mm-hmm.
not the moments.
Mm-hmm.
Not the moments that happen because those moments they don't last.
Mm.
After 45 years,
Mm.
of living, you know what I mean. I learned that life is full of memories,
Mm.
but your actions take part in your future.
Mm-hmm.
Your actions, not that to lead. I had an old man that told me that you work so you can live later.
Mm.
And I thought about that, like, wow, that's deep.
Mm.
Certain actions that you take into play decides how you're going to live
Yes.
later on in life.
Right.
But not the little flashes, not those memories, not the trophies, none of that.
Right.
Because I don't know how many of these I threw away, and kids won't even know the difference.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because it doesn't. That's not it.
Right.
But what did this make you? Whether it's the determination, the hard work, the motivation, the falling and getting up, like. Where did I get from this? And this is what makes you, this is what plans out your future and directs you into the way you want to be. Because now you have an understanding. And when you can't take it no more, you put a beat to it and you dance it out. Get what I'm saying? And that's that's the tools I want to give my students. That's the outlet I want to create for the kids in this area. Right. Like, no, you're worth something. You're worth so much more than you know.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But let me show you.
Yes.
Now take a second, look behind the curtain, and listen to the crowd after you perform.
Yes. Take that in.
Take that in. And know what you're worth. Now let's talk about what you want to go with. Do you want to do something with that or anything else? Because whatever you put into it, just like you put it into dance, you're going to get that applaud.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. You're taking it. It's like outside of the. It's like open. It's such a wider perspective.
Yes.
Of just seeing just the dance, like anything I want to put my heart to, whatever actions I take will. Look what I can do. It just shows look what I can do. Yes. I can do this. Yes. I believe it. Someone believes in me, so I'm taking this time.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And once you see it, once you know, you can. I'm telling you, believe in. It sounds poetic when people say it, but it's so true. If you believe it deep in your heart and you fight for what you believe in, you will succeed.
You will succeed.
You know, I'm not saying you won't fall.
Right.
I'm not saying you won't fail.
Right.
But you got to keep on. You know, great words of Martin Luther King. Whether you're running, walking, or crawling, as long as you're moving forward. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's where I wanted to embed in you guys.
Yeah.
To find a way to find music in yourself to get through the trials and tribulations. To understand that and to use these tools to create a world that you want, because you deserve it and you can do it.
Yes.
Right? You are control. People could put laws around us, but you are control of you.
Yes.
Right? And you're gonna go through these things. You're gonna go through times where, like I said, living in shelters, going to group homes, what got me through these things? Music, dance, expression, being able to get it out, and now be able to give it, and teach it, and so that's what BIA is about too. That's what Born Into the Arts is. Finding the artist in you, and walking by being raised by the colors of the earth. Yes, and not being stuck into the creativity of man, like the way man wants you to. Right, left. Right. Nah, we gonna glide. We gonna glide.
Just do it your way.
Exactly.
Figure out your way.
And then watch people look.
And then,
You get what I'm saying? And watch people look. And then when they look, they're gonna say, that's stupid. That's weird. Why are you doing that? Yeah. That's hot. That's cool. How can you do that? Boom. Oh. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes. You got to go with here.
Yes. And then
first.
Yes. And then other people's minds start to, maybe I could. Yeah. Maybe I can.
Many people say, what are you going to do with that? You can't do nothing with that. You need to go to school. Now you go to school. Well, now I'm a professor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't tell you what school yet.
Right.
But now I'm a professor.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So the world, man, that born into the world of sin. Right. So they're going to tell you that. They're going to show you these things. No. So no, we were born into the arts. We are the arts. We created this. There was someone that heard a sound from a bird and wanted to repeat it through vocal.
Right.
There's someone that's seen the beauty of colors of flowers that want to create paint.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
It's this human thing to just express every part into there and everything you see and just how can I become part of that and